The Mod Squad once froze America in its tracks with 3 young rebels turned hippie cops. But what you never expected is that their real lives were far more turbulent than anything shown on screen. Behind the faded fame, the broken marriages, and the illnesses that shocked fans, most of their stories were hidden for decades. And in 2025, as the truth finally comes to light, you won't believe what happened to each member of that legendary cast. Tig Andrews as Captain. Adam Greer. Tig Andrews was born Tiger Andrawas on March 19, 1920, in Brooklyn, New York. At 48 years old, he played Captain Adam Greer, the devoted and paternal mentor to 3 young rebels in the Mod Squad, 1968 to 1973. His calm authority and steady presence anchored the show, guiding the trio through their toughest challenges. Audiences admired his role as the moral compass, yet behind the scenes, Andrews bore the weight of personal struggle. Andrews' marriage to Norma Thornton, though loving, was strained by the pressures of raising 6 children while filming a hit network show. The long hours, travel, and public scrutiny placed emotional burdens on their relationship that the couple rarely acknowledged openly. After Norma's death in 1996, Andrews was left navigating a grief that reshaped his daily life, forcing him to confront a silence in the home that once brimmed with family energy. Friends noted that her absence left him adrift for years, deepening the private battles he quietly fought. His earlier injuries and trauma from World War II lingered long after the cameras stopped rolling, resurfacing in the form of chronic aches and emotional fatigue. Combined with the exhaustion of a long career, these issues often pushed Andrews into periods of isolation. Turning to painting and singing, he sought small sanctuaries where he could momentarily set aside the pain, channeling his emotions into creative outlets that became essential sources of comfort. Tig Andrews passed away at age 86 on January 27, 2007, from cardiac arrest at his home in Encino, California. He was laid to rest with an estimated net worth of $5 million, the result of decades devoted to acting, music, and the arts. His legacy endures as that of a steady on-screen protector whose real-life vulnerabilities made him all the more human, an icon shaped as much by sorrow as by strength. Michael Cole as Pete Cochran. Michael Cole was born Michael Charles Cole on July 3, 1940, in Madison, Wisconsin. At 28 years old, he played Pete Cochran, the rebellious, privileged youth seeking redemption in the Mod Squad, 1968 to 1973. His performance captured the tension between a troubled past and the hope for a better future. Cole's charm and brooding intensity made Pete instantly memorable, drawing viewers into a story of youthful defiance and transformation. Yet the actor's life off-screen reflected a similar turbulence. Cole's marriages were fraught with challenge and early hardship. Married first at 16 and divorced by 20, he faced the responsibilities of raising children while still grappling with a volatile personal life. His later marriage to Shelley Funes in 1996 required navigating his ongoing battle with alcohol addiction, underscoring the fragility beneath his public persona. The pressures of fame, coupled with intense scrutiny from fans and media, often amplified domestic tensions, making every personal decision a high-stakes affair. His long-standing addiction shadowed both career and home life for decades. Chronic alcoholism, beginning in adolescence, strained relationships, and threatened his stability, leading to stints in rehabilitation, including the Betty Ford Clinic in 1991. Despite this, Cole fought to regain control, striving to remain a father, husband, and actor while confronting the consequences of years of dependency. Even after periods of sobriety, he faced lingering social stigma and professional uncertainty, showing remarkable persistence in rebuilding his life and reputation. Michael Cole passed away at age 84 on December 10, 2024, from natural causes at Providence Tarzana Medical Center, California. With an estimated net worth of $2 million, his journey reflects a life of resilience amid adversity. His legacy continues through his children and the indelible mark he left on 1960s and 1970s television drama. Peggy Lipton as Julie Barnes. Peggy Lipton was born Margaret Ann Lipton on August 30th, 1946 in New York City. At 22 years old, she played Julie Barnes, the innocent yet resilient blonde hippie in the Mod Squad, 1968 to 1973. Her portrayal captured both vulnerability and strength, making her a cultural icon of the era. Behind the screen, Lipton navigated early trauma and personal battles both on and off camera. Lipton's marriage to Quincy Jones was fraught with pressure and public scrutiny. Married in 1974, they faced racial prejudice from family and the media, and their differing career paths created tension that ultimately led to divorce in 1990. Raising two daughters, Rashida and Kidada, amid fame and professional demands added emotional strain, testing her resilience and dedication as a mother. Lipton often struggled to reconcile her own creative ambitions with the expectations of society and the entertainment industry, making the domestic balance an ongoing challenge. During her later years, Lipton battled serious illness that shadowed her private life. Diagnosed with late-stage colon cancer in 2004, she confronted the disease with quiet courage, while reflecting on a life marked by both achievement and hardship. Even as she contended with health struggles, her influence as an actress and advocate remained indelible. She continued to inspire younger generations through her artistry and public appearances, leaving a legacy that transcended her illness. Peggy Lipton passed away at age 72 on May 11, 2019 in Los Angeles, California, from colon cancer. Her net worth of approximately $10 million reflects decades of acting, music, and cultural impact. Tributes poured in from fans and fellow actors alike, commemorating her as a pioneering figure whose grace and resilience defined an era of television history. Clarence Williams III as Lincoln Link Hayes. Clarence Williams III was born on August 21, 1939 in New York City. At 29 years old, he played Lincoln Link Hayes, the sharp, intelligent, streetwise African-American teen with an iconic afro in the Mod Squad, 1968 to 1973. His performance challenged racial stereotypes and brought a nuanced depth to the counterculture-era series. Off-screen, Williams carried the weight of personal and societal struggles that mirrored the complexities of his character. Williams's first marriage to Gloria Foster brought both partnership and heartache. Married in 1967, their union ended in divorce in 1984, but the two remained close friends until her death in 2001 from diabetes. The dissolution of his marriage left Williams confronting loneliness and emotional isolation, deepening a period of reflection and inner struggle. His health became a poignant challenge late in life. Williams battled colon cancer, which compounded the sense of fragility that had shadowed his personal journey. Despite the absence of children, he remained a devoted artist, finding purpose through acting and mentoring, while quietly navigating the pain of illness and loss. Clarence Williams III passed away at age 81 on June 4, 2021, in Los Angeles, California, from colon cancer. He is interred at St. Charles Cemetery in East Farmingdale, New York, leaving an estimated net worth of $2 million. Williams's legacy endures as a trailblazing actor who overcame societal and personal obstacles, leaving a mark of strength, dignity, and artistic excellence. Ed Asner as Harry Loring. Ed Asner was born Edward David Asner on November 15, 1929, in Kansas City, Missouri. At 39 years old, he played Harry Loring, the principled and guiding figure for the squad in the Mod Squad, 1968 to 1973. His commanding presence and unwavering integrity made him a stabilizing force among the younger officers. Off-screen, Asner faced the pressures of fame and the weight of family responsibilities, which often demanded sacrifices he could not ignore. Asner's first marriage to Nancy Sykes was marked by both commitment and strain. Married from 1959 to 1988, they had 3 children together, including twins Matthew and Liza, and another child, Kate. Balancing a busy acting career with family obligations was a constant challenge, and the pressures contributed to personal tensions that lingered throughout their decades together. The demands of long filming schedules and his political activism, including his leadership as SAG president, added further stress that often tested the resilience of their marriage. Later, Asner faced additional challenges in his second marriage and personal relationships. Married to Cindy Gilmore from 1998 until their separation in 2007, he navigated legal disputes and the complexities of blended family dynamics. These later years brought both personal reflection and occasional conflict, as he sought to reconcile his public persona with private expectations, showing both vulnerability and steadfast dedication to his loved ones. Ed Asner passed away at age 91 on August 29, 2021, from natural causes at his home in Tarzana, Los Angeles, California. He was interred at Sheffield Cemetery in Kansas City, Missouri, leaving an estimated net worth of $10 million. Asner's legacy endures as a trailblazing actor and activist whose life reflected both immense talent and the quiet struggles of a man navigating fame, family, and personal conviction, inspiring generations of performers and advocates alike. Sammy Davis Jr. as Billy Lee Watson. Sammy Davis Jr. was born Samuel George Davis Jr. on December 8, 1925, in Harlem, New York City. At 43 years old, he played Billy Lee Watson, the charismatic musical guest star in the Mod Squad, 1968 to 1973. Known for his electrifying talent and magnetic stage presence, Davis captivated audiences both on-screen and off. Yet behind the glittering facade, he wrestled with personal demons, early loss, and the physical toll of a lifelong performance career. Davis's marriages were filled with turmoil and public scrutiny. His first marriage to Lorraine White in 1958 lasted less than a year and ended amid chaos, including drunken episodes and threats of violence. His second marriage to Mae Britt from 1960 to 1968 faced severe racial backlash and societal pressure, compounded by conflicting careers and personal stress. Finally, his marriage to Altavize Gore from 1970 until his death in 1990 carried its own challenges, including raising a son while he struggled with addiction and the demands of fame. Substance abuse and health battles shadowed much of his adult life. Davis turned to alcohol and cocaine to cope with the pressures of touring and the residual trauma of early childhood. By the late 1980s, years of smoking and alcohol use contributed to the development of throat cancer, which would ultimately claim his life. Sammy Davis Jr. passed away at age 64 on May 16, 1990, in Beverly Hills, California, from complications of throat cancer. His funeral at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale was attended by celebrities including Little Richard and Stevie Wonder, and the Las Vegas Strip dimmed its lights in his honor. His estimated net worth was $5 million, though financial struggles included $7 million owed to the IRS. Davis remains an enduring symbol of talent, perseverance, and the complex cost of fame. Harry Towns as Dr. Berger. Harry Towns was born Harry Rhett Towns on September 18, 1914, in Huntsville, Alabama. At 54 years old, he played Dr. Berger, the cautious, expert-minded physician in the Mod Squad, 1968 to 1973. His portrayal brought intelligence and gravitas to the series, complementing the youthful energy of the main cast. Behind the camera, Towns navigated the pressures of dual careers in acting and ministry, balancing creative expression with spiritual devotion. However, his life involved its own private tensions and solitude. After leaving full-time acting to pursue his Episcopal ministry in 1974, he experienced emotional isolation as he adjusted to a life that blended spiritual service with occasional acting commitments. The transition required navigating the challenges of community expectation and personal vocation, creating a quiet but persistent strain on his emotional well-being. Maintaining his identity as both a respected clergyman and a former actor often left him in a delicate, introspective state. However, the stress of managing two demanding paths took a toll. Townes faced the mental and emotional strain of leaving behind the stage and film sets he loved while embracing the responsibilities of ministry. The dual pressures left him often contemplative, highlighting the sacrifices inherent in a life devoted to service and artistry. At times, he struggled with the tension between public recognition as an actor and private fulfillment through spiritual work, a balancing act few could understand. Harry Townes passed away at age 86 on May 23, 2001 in Huntsville, Alabama. He was interred at Maple Hill Cemetery in his hometown, leaving an estimated net worth of $1 million. Townes is remembered for his thoughtful performances, dedication to faith, and the quiet dignity with which he navigated the challenges of a life split between acting and spiritual calling, leaving a legacy of both artistic and moral integrity. Simon Scott, as Chief Barney Metcalf. Simon Scott was born Simon Daniel Scott on September 21, 1920, in Monterey Park, California. At 48 years old, he played Chief Barney Metcalf, the authoritative recurring police chief in the Mod Squad, 1968 to 1973, appearing in 9 episodes. His commanding presence embodied traditional power and structure within the series. Off-screen, Scott navigated the challenges of family life while quietly facing the onset of Alzheimer's disease. Scott's marriage was stable and supportive for many years, providing a foundation amid the uncertainties of an acting career. However, as Alzheimer's progressed, the strain on both him and his family grew, bringing emotional challenges that tested their resilience and patience. Caring for Scott required constant vigilance from his loved ones, and the gradual cognitive decline disrupted routines, communication, and household harmony. This slow erosion of independence added a heavy emotional weight that contrasted sharply with his authoritative roles on screen. Though the disease forced him to retire in 1985, Scott remained engaged with his loved ones as much as possible. Alzheimer's limited his independence and altered his daily life, underscoring the quiet tragedy of a brilliant actor confronting a relentless illness. His final years were marked by confusion and memory loss, yet he retained moments of warmth and recognition, leaving an indelible imprint on his family's hearts. Simon Scott passed away at age 71 on December 11, 1991, in Los Alamitos, California, from complications of Alzheimer's disease. He left an estimated net worth of $2 million and is remembered for his steady performances on television, including Trapper John, M.D., and McHale's Navy. His funeral was attended by close family and colleagues, honoring a career that quietly shaped American television. Ross Elliott, as Arnold Sanders. Ross Elliott was born Elliott Blum on June 18, 1917, in the Bronx, New York City. At 51 years old, he played Arnold Sanders, a figure of generational authority in the Mod Squad, 1968 to 1973. His role conveyed gravitas and tension in the conflict between tradition and change. Behind the camera, Elliott faced personal pressures, including the complexities of marriage and the demands of a lifelong career in stage and television. Elliott was married twice, first to Ellen in 1943, and later to Esther from 1954 until his death in 1999. The pressures of show business created tensions within his marriages, with long absences and career demands adding emotional strain. Juggling stage, radio, film, and television projects often left him exhausted, and the constant travel disrupted domestic stability. Despite these pressures, Elliott maintained commitment to his spouses, navigating the precarious balance between career success and family life with quiet determination. His later health challenges compounded these personal tensions. Elliott battled cancer toward the end of his life, a disease that caused both physical pain and emotional reflection on his decades-long career. Even as treatments weakened him, he remained mentally sharp and deeply engaged in the creative community, offering guidance to younger actors and colleagues. Ross Elliott passed away at age 82 on August 12, 1999, from cancer. He left an estimated net worth of $3 million and is remembered for his performances in I Love Lucy and The Towering Inferno, along with more than 200 television appearances. His funeral was attended by family and colleagues who celebrated a life dedicated to the craft of acting. Norman Alden as Charles Swain. Norman Alden was born Norman Kavinsky Adelberg on September 13, 1924, in Fort Worth, Texas. At 44 years old, he played Charles Swain, the cunning and manipulative character in The Mod Squad, 1968 to 1973. His performance added tension and intrigue to the episodes he appeared in, leaving a lasting impression despite limited screen time. Off-camera, Alden faced the challenges of balancing a demanding acting schedule with the responsibilities of family life. Alden's marriage to Sharon Hayden, lasting from 1966 to 1978, was marked by pressures from his busy career and time away on set. Raising two children while maintaining his professional obligations demanded constant adjustment, and the strain of frequent absences took an emotional toll on the household. The couple's eventual divorce reflected the difficulties many actors face when trying to reconcile personal life with the demands of Hollywood. Even as Alden continued to take on diverse roles in television and film, including Back to the Future, 1985, and voicing Sir Kay in The Sword in the Stone, 1963, the long hours and travel schedules complicated his private life. The relentless pace of work and family responsibilities contributed to moments of quiet hardship and solitude, shaping his later years with reflection and perseverance. Norman Alden passed away at age 87 on July 27, 2012, in Los Angeles, California, from natural causes. He was interred at Hollywood Forever Cemetery. With an estimated net worth of $1.5 million, Alden is remembered as a reliable character actor whose enduring performances and dedication left a subtle but lasting mark on both television and film, even as personal sacrifices underscored his journey. Paul Richards as Loren. Paul Richards was born Paul Richard Levitt on November 10, 1924, in Hollywood, California. At 44 years old, he played Loren, the manipulative antagonist in The Mod Squad, 1968 to 1973. His nuanced performance brought depth and tension to the series, capturing viewers' attention despite appearing in a limited number of episodes. Off-screen, Richards's life was marked by personal and health struggles that would cut his career tragically short. Richards's marriage to Monica Keating, which began in 1950, was a source of stability yet constantly tested by his demanding acting schedule. Long hours on set and travel for film and television roles created persistent strain on their relationship, requiring careful balancing of personal life and career obligations. Despite the pressures, Richards maintained a strong commitment to his family until his illness worsened. Their home life was often punctuated by the stress of his frequent absences and the emotional toll of navigating Hollywood's intense and competitive environment. In his later years, Richards faced a relentless battle with cancer, which ultimately curtailed his vibrant career in film and television. The disease intensified the emotional burden on both him and his wife, overshadowing what should have been the peak years of his creative output. Yet he continued to mentor younger actors, even as his health declined, demonstrating his dedication to the craft and the people around him. Paul Richards passed away at age 50 on December 10, 1974, in Los Angeles, California, from cancer. He was interred at Hillside Memorial Park Cemetery in the Alcove of Love alongside notable figures including Moe Howard of the Three Stooges. With an estimated net worth of $1 million, Richards is remembered as a versatile actor whose life and career were tragically cut short, leaving a legacy of talent, mentorship, and untapped potential. Woodrow Parfrey as George Albert. Woodrow Parfrey was born Sidney Woodrow Parfrey on October 5, 1922, in New York City, New York. At 46 years old, he played George Albert, the eccentric informer in The Mod Squad, 1968 to 1973. His performance added a quirky, unpredictable energy to the series, making even brief appearances memorable. Off-screen, Parfrey faced the challenges of a modest life and the pressures of sustaining a career mostly in supporting roles. Parfrey never had a publicly documented marriage beyond his union with Rosa Elliott in 1950, yet his family life was marked by quiet commitment. Together they raised 4 children, balancing the demands of his sporadic acting schedule with family responsibilities. Though private, his domestic life was shadowed by the uncertainties of acting work, long hours, and the financial instability common to character actors. The solitude and pressures of being the primary breadwinner created emotional strain that Parfrey managed with determination. His career demands and the physical stress of work took a toll on his health. Parfrey's long hours on set and intense performance schedule likely contributed to his premature heart condition. Even as he continued to appear in prominent films like Dirty Harry, 1971, and Papillon, 1973, the constant pressure and a lifestyle shaped by supporting roles added to his personal strain. These factors made the actor's later years increasingly difficult, compounding both physical and emotional fatigue. Woodrow Parfrey passed away at age 61 on July 29, 1984, in Los Angeles, California, from a heart attack. He was interred at Los Angeles National Cemetery, leaving an estimated net worth of $1 million. Parfrey is remembered as a versatile character actor whose distinctive presence brought color and unpredictability to stage, television, and film, even as personal challenges and health struggles curtailed a longer life. Brooke Bundy as Trudy Hansen. Brooke Bundy was born on August 8, 1944, in New York City. At 24 years old, she appeared in The Mod Squad, 1968 to 1973, as Trudy Hansen, bringing a cool, modern charm that fit perfectly with the show's youthful energy. Her brief but memorable presence added a layer of contemporary sophistication to the series. Bundy's personal journey, however, carried its own emotional weight. Before arriving in Hollywood, she had worked as a teenage model in New York, navigating early pressures around image and performance. When she moved to Los Angeles, originally just for a vacation, she found herself swept into the demands of acting, which left little room for emotional grounding. The instability of constant auditions, shifting roles, and the frenetic pace of daytime television pushed her into long stretches of career uncertainty that were rarely visible to the public. Her later career continued to blend success with strain. Bundy secured long-running roles on Days of Our Lives as Rebecca North and General Hospital as Diana Taylor. But the grueling soap opera schedule often collided with her personal needs and well-being. She later shifted into the horror genre with A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4, roles that brought her renewed visibility but also revived old pressures of typecasting and public expectation. Throughout these decades, she raised a family while balancing the relentless demands of Hollywood. As of 2025, Brooke Bundy is 81 years old and largely retired from acting, living a quiet life away from the industry. With an estimated net worth of $1 million, she remains remembered for her adaptability across genres, from soaps to sci-fi to horror, and for the understated strength that marked both her performances and her personal journey. They broke rules, rewrote TV history, and carried a generation's rebellion on their shoulders. Yet their real lives, marked by triumph, heartbreak, illness, and reinvention, are even more unforgettable than the cases they solved on screen. Which story surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more shocking Hollywood journeys.